Am I the a-hole told mom she can bill me using the tuition money she stole from me? When I 33 male was preparing to go to uni, my mom confessed that there was no tuition money for me. Through the years, my dad would give her cash to deposit, but she only did the first one. She spent the rest. To be honest, I wasn't even surprised. I was used to being disappointed by her. She promised that she would pay me back and asked that I never tell me dad. So for 4 years, I thanked them for the tuition money while I took out loans. For reasons to do with her narcissism, I have an arm's length relationship with her, but she would say we're pretty close as she assumes my smiling and nodding while she drones on about the same stories is a relationship. We have a family cottage that she puts above everything else. She lives there about 90 days of the year. I've been going there with my GF for about 4 days for a couple summers, which she begrudges as it takes away from her time. My dad supports my going, which is how I pull it off. She recently told me that it was time for me to start paying for some of the maintenance on the cottage since I use it. She actually suggested $1,000, which is wildly disproportionate. I told her she could take it out of the tuition I owe you, and we could negotiate the amount with dad. She was speechless. She texted me later to say that it's manipulative to bring up the tuition and to threaten to tell dad. It went on and on. I've been thinking about it, and first, I'm hurt/offended that she can't just do a nice thing for me. She has to get something for it. Second, I guess I'm not really over the whole tuition thing. Am I the a-hole for bringing up ancient history and not paying her for use of the cottage? Edited to add, at the time, it never occurred to me that I should have told him. I thought I was doing the right thing by protecting both of them. That pretty much summarizes my childhood. Top comments. Not the a-hole, but I'm confused as to why you agreed to keep this secret from your dad. It isn't clear from your post whether or not your parents are currently married, but either way, it makes no sense to lie to your father. He thinks he spent money on your education, and for some reason you went along with his lie. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not bringing anything to my friend's potluck after she told me not to? One of my close friends hosted a dinner at her place last weekend. She called it a potluck and sent a group text saying we should each bring a little something, drinks, snacks, whatever. It wasn't anything fancy, just casual. I asked her what I should bring and mentioned I'd be coming straight from work and might be a little rushed. She replied that I didn't need to worry about it. She had plenty of food and just wanted me to come. So I didn't bring anything. I showed up, said hi to everyone, and honestly, the night was going fine. People brought stuff, a salad, some cupcakes, a couple bottles of wine. I was planning to just help clean up or do dishes since I didn't bring anything, and I figured she meant what she said. But later on, while people were complimenting the food, she made this offhand comment like, well, not everyone contributed. But we're still glad she showed up. Everyone laughed, and it didn't seem super serious, but I felt my face get hot. I didn't know how to respond. I stayed polite and tried not to act weird about it, but I felt uncomfortable the rest of the night. On the way home, I kept thinking about it. I get that maybe she was a little annoyed, but she literally told me not to bring anything. And now I feel like she put me on blast in front of people for something I didn't even do wrong. I haven't said anything to her yet because it feels small and I don't want to be dramatic, but I also can't shake the feeling that it wasn't fair. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Yeah, not the a-hole. That was quite rude of the hostess. If this is someone you value, I'd recommend bringing it up casually. Ask if perhaps there was a misunderstanding because you thought she said to come anyway. From your description, it doesn't sound like a mistake. Chances are they will get defensive, but at least you attempted to clear the air. If you take a couple days and it doesn't bother you as much, you can decide to not bring it up to the hostess. The good thing is that you now have more information. You now know that you can't trust them to be honest in situations like that. Emo, it is unreasonable to expect people to read your mind when you tell them the opposite of what you really want. Like requesting no gifts for a birthday, then pouting. Opie replies, yep, that's what I've been thinking. She did tell me not to bring anything, and then kinda made me look bad. It's hard to know if it was a misunderstanding or she just changed her mind and didn't say anything. I might not confront her directly, but I def-clocked the way she handled it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not telling my friend that the volunteer gig he flaked on was actually paid? So I 23am and my friend Ryan 23am are both in engineering. Last month, our department posted a call for volunteers to help run logistics at a local tech conference. It sounded like a good networking opportunity, so I signed up, and I told Ryan about it too. He was like, "Hey, not worth the time unless they're paying." Fair enough. I show up the first day, and to my surprise, they hand me a badge, free food vouchers, and say we'll be getting a small stipend at the end, like not huge, but still $300 for 2 days. Not bad at all. Ryan texts me while I'm there like, "Yo, how's it going?" And I just say, "Not bad, chill so far." I didn't mention the money because one, I didn't know how long I'd be staying, and two, he already decided it wasn't worth it. Anyway, after the event, I get the stipend and post a pic of the staff group on IG. Ryan sees it, asks, "Wait, you got paid?" I say, "Yeah, it ended up being paid after all." He flips. Says I was shady for not telling him that he would have come if he knew, and that I knew he needed the cash. He told a few people I set him up to miss out on it. But he made his call. I didn't know it was paid either at first, and I never lied to him. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. They needed you there in the beginning for a quick volunteer orientation, right? I've done this event work before. So when you found out it was paid, it was too late for him to get paid. Make sure he knows that, and that should be the end of it. And you were right, by the way. The networking opportunity was worth more than the $300, and I hope you got some contacts out of it. Maybe one day Ryan can decide an internship you go for isn't worth it, and you'll find out that was paid too. Then later Ryan will wonder why he didn't get a job offer. Next story. Am I the a-hole for saying my boyfriend's friend can't visit us now that I'm pregnant? My boyfriend has a friend who is currently doing the whole van lifing thing and living out of his van. The past several months, this friend has been coming by our house a couple days a week. Each time he's here, he stays around 10 to 12 hours to use the shower, kitchen, washing machine, and Wi-Fi. I've been unhappy with the lack of privacy and the extra work for quite a while, which my boyfriend is well aware of. But I've been putting up with it because the friend is down on his luck and could use some help. However, now that I'm pregnant, I'm ready for this situation to end. I want to be able to lay on my couch without pants, not shove my giant, tired boobs into a bra constantly, and talk about my private medical details with my partner without having to whisper about them in another room. I'm also just worn out in general, and the friend is generating so much extra work. He comes into our home after doing construction jobs and tracks in tons of dust and dirt. Every time he showers, he somehow leaves a thick coating of body hair all over the shower. I have to clean up before I can shower again. After he uses the washing machine, there's sticks and leaves and sand all over the laundry room. Not only does he hog the kitchen when I want to cook meals sometimes, but he also leaves all his dirty dishes for me to deal with afterwards. Ideally, I'd have my boyfriend deal with the extra work, since he's the one who's inviting the dude over. But with his busier work schedule, most of the household work falls to me. So to me, it's a no-brainer that the friend finds somewhere else to be for a couple months to give me some privacy and a break from the added work. However, when I brought this up to my boyfriend and told him it was time to set a boundary with the friend, he told me it was, first of all, a very awkward and weird thing to ask his friend, and secondly, a cruel and insensitive thing for me to request. He's willing to do so for me, but at the same time, is making it very clear he thinks I'm a monster for even asking him to do this. Is it actually reasonable for me to put a no visitors rule in place for a few months or not? Top comments. It's your house and space. Friend has to find somewhere else to impose, now and after child arrives. Opie, if Moocher ever visits again, I'd also advise you not do anything to assist cleanup. Instead, text a list of all that needs doing due to Moocher's dirt to your partner and have him do all the cleanup, no matter what hours he works. Because the only reason he doesn't understand the load is because he isn't carrying most of the practical task load. Next story. Am I the a-hole if my boyfriend made a meal and asked me how it was and I said fine? So my boyfriend made chicken breast with some white rice, a salad with garlic, and we had some pickles and beetroot on the side from jars, and we sit down and he says, "How is it?" And I said fine, there's nothing special. Everything tastes as it should. And he got upset and said he added extra garlic in the lettuce and soy sauce on the breast. We both said we couldn't taste that. And I said I am not used to making comments about food like he is in his family. When we eat with his mother, everyone has to say something along the lines of, "How delicious. This is so tasty. Yum." At every meal. And in my family, we probably find that behavior a bit fake. We just sit down and talk about other things. And if there was something new in the food, then that would be a normal question to ask how it was. So he got really upset because I should have just said, "It's great" or "It's good" instead of a normal and not very enthusiastic. "It's fine. Everything tastes as it should." And he proceeded to pick his plate up and left to eat in the office. I don't feel like partaking in a family tradition I don't feel is natural. I feel like I'm forced to say something I don't care about it or don't believe in. It's chicken breast and white rice. I mean, am I the a-hole for not making a bigger deal out of a simple meal? Is he overreacting, or should I just be fake and oblige and say, "It's really tasty"? Every single f***ing meal. Top comments. Okay. Let's break this down differently. I will be making some assumptions because there isn't a ton of context. Boyfriend goes out of his way and makes a nice dinner. Acts excited about doing something nice. GF acts like not only is it not special, but that it isn't very good. BF feels embarrassed and deflated, greater than acts hurt. GF thinks it is dumb to treat people nicely when they do something nice. Either this isn't a match that you understand each other at all, or you need to be nicer, or both. You are the a-hole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for demanding money back after a friend threw away most of my kitchen utensils? Hiya. So context. My husband has a group of friends who are together since school. I moved to his country for work/study and come from a different culture. We welcomed our lovely baby girl and are lucky to be in a country where parents can take a good amount of off time. We decided to spend 2 months on my country so my mom could bond with the baby, since she couldn't be here when my first was born COVID. Coincidentally, a couple we know was returning from a trip around the world and needed to rent an apartment. It was a perfect match. They cover our rent and we can be relaxed since they can look after our apartment and car. Well, once we returned, I noticed our kitchen was almost empty. I mean, baking utensils, forks, knives, pans, cooking ingredients, casseroles. Even utensils my mom brought from my home country for special meals were gone. I was furious. I still cannot believe how someone can do such a thing. She replaced one of 2 frying pans, and that was it. We still have a few pans, but specialty items to cook and bake different things are gone. My husband allegedly talked to the friend. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah acted like she did a favor. Once she realized we were not happy, she argued only those she could not make clean enough were thrown away. I say allegedly because my husband tends to minimize/diminish the issue to not cause waves. I demanded she replaces every single thing. My husband is begging me to let it go, not to lose a long friendship. I feel like I am in crazy town. I mean WHO does IT, especially without talking to the owners of the house. If you don't know what something is for why throw it away? I cannot wrap my head around it. Am I the a-hole, and she was just doing a favor, or am I being gaslit to high heaven? Top comments. Not the a-hole. If you are borrowing something, it is your job to return it in equal or better condition, or come to a suitable agreement with the owner to replace it entirely. If they were not happy with the condition of any of your housewares, then they should have left them untouched and used an alternative for their stay. If they ruined anything, plates get dropped, accidents happen. Then they should be apologizing profusely and offering to replace those items. What they should definitely not being doing, is chucking out a load of your kitchenware without your knowledge and pretending they are doing you a favor. If nothing else, you don't need to replace a load of items you had no problems with before. But that doesn't consider how many of those items may have been sentimental pieces inherited or gifted to you over the years. Yes, you may ruin a friendship by demanding compensation, but realistically, they have already burned that relationship. Would you want to socialize with anyone who unapologetically acts like they did? Opie replies, exactly what I thought. If they didn't want to use ours, they could buy new ones and use them and take them home. But throwing away our stuff, I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel our posts.